Hey guys, and welcome to the first installment of the Throwback Thursday special. So for this video, I'm actually going to go through my history with the Korean girl group, Girls' Generation. Now, Girls' Generation was the first K-pop artist that I really got into. I knew Boa before, but at the time that I got to know Boa, I did not know, she was actually a K-pop artist. I didn't know how famous she was. I heard her Japanese songs first, so she doesn't really count. Girls' Generation counts. And how I got to know them was actually from a content creator who was known as Monty. Now, if any of you is like a fan of Rooster Teeth and the show Ruby that comes on, he was the creator of that. Now, he had another series called Dead Fantasy. If you're a fan of video games and you know the two games, Final Fantasy and Dead or Alive, he kind of animated the girls of those games to fight against each other. It was kind of mindless fighting. There was no like real storyline to it, but it was really fun to watch, and it was really cool to see him do different things with each of the girls. So later on down the line, he actually released it was like a little like special little thing that he did, and he chose 9 of the girls that are part of the series that he created, and he put them to the music. He like made them do the choreography to the music for the Girls' Generation song G. So that's actually the first time I ever heard any Korean music before, any K-pop. And it just happened to be Girls' Generation. So I was introduced to K-pop because of Monty Ohm's Dead Fantasy series. So that's literally where it came from. That's literally how I got it. And then like suggested videos brought me to the actual girls who performed the song. So it's not that long of a story, but I'm kind of making it that long. Basically, yeah, I went in and I watched the video, and I actually kind of fell in love with them. The song itself that they were performing, G, was kind of annoying with the repetition, which is the video that I'm going to look at today, since it was the first video that I watched, and this is a Throwback Thursday episode. But I don't know, I just kind of like the different colors and all. It was different from the videos that I had seen here. At the same time that this stuff was releasing, you had singers over here like Chris Brown and Rihanna who were coming up. And, most of their videos were kind of like, I won't say basic, but it was definitely, for someone like me who was like 12 or 13 years old, it was kind of boring. There was some cool stuff going on, but I liked kind of how the video went for Girls' Generation, and I liked the choreography too, and I liked that there were so many members, and I was just like, wow, there's 9 girls standing in front of me right now. Like that was great. I don't know, I just really liked it. So anyway, let's go down the line. You have 9 members. Originally there was 9 members. Now there's 8. My favorite member actually left the group. But originally there were 9 members. You had and each of the members had like their roles, and that's the one thing I did like about it. In Korea, like in most of them, there's always like with the groups, there's always like your lead singers, lead dancers, and then there's like your visuals. And then like some groups have rappers or whatever. So from when I met them, like the group kind of went like their vocal line. It was like 5 members who were like main vocals, and it was Taeyeon, who was like pretty much main, and then you had your lead vocalists who would kind of they would have like parts, like most of the singing parts in the songs, and then some of them would have some like ad-lib parts. Most of the ad-libs went to Taeyeon though, the actual leader of the group and lead singer. But then you had Jessica. She would have a lot of ad-lib parts as well as like some really good vocal parts, and her and Taeyeon would pretty much be like lead for like most of the high notes and the big notes, like the big like climaxes of the songs. Then you had Sunny. Her voice kind of reminded me of a baby's. But she did have a really solid voice, and she had a pretty good range as well. Then you had Tiffany. and Sohyun, who was the youngest of the group. Now, Tiffany and Jessica are both from the US, and they were the ones who would speak English the most, you know, when they had like different interviews or whatever, or when they came over here to promote and stuff, you know, those two would be the ones to really, you know, do most of the speaking. And they were the ones that I related to the most because of the fact that they were from here, and they, especially Tiffany, had a lot of mannerisms that were like kind of more American. And then the other four members were pretty much what made up like the dance line and kind of like the visuals. The lead dancer, Hyoyeon, love her the most. And then you had Sooyoung, Yuna, who was like the main visual of the group. You know, she, in the beginning I kind of didn't know her role, you know, if they're the one to say visual. To me, like, she wasn't even the most pretty to me. You know, in Korea, it's a little bit different, I've noticed, with who they think is the most pretty versus who like more international fans think are the most pretty. To me, Jessica was the prettiest. Finally, there was Yuri. I guess I'm gonna do like kind of like a re-reaction. I'm making sure that all of the videos that I watch, you know, my first video with them is a video that I have not seen in a very, very long time. The last time that I watched the G video, it's been like a few years since I've seen the G video, and I got into Girls' Generation in 2010. I was about 14 at the time. No, it was 2009. It was 2009 because it was right around the time FX first came out, and I was watching them do La Cha Ta. Yeah. So anyway. Let's get into this really extra childish like video called G. Entre, due, uno. Okay, so alright, yeah. So the guy who's carrying the doll versions of them, the mannequin versions of them, he's actually part of the group called SHINee. SHINee is amazing. I really want to get into some stuff with them when they do their comeback, because SHINee is probably one of my favorite K-pop groups of all time. This was my first love story. This came out in what, 2009 or 10? I think it was 2009. Here's Jessica. Oh my god. If you look at them now versus then, most of them are already adults, but Tiffany. The thing is, most of them were already adults by this time, so it was kind of weird that they were like doing a song like this. But there was like such a drastic change from this to like the songs that they did afterwards. That's Yuna. Everybody knew these dance moves. I remember, like, everybody knew these dance moves. I feel so embarrassed watching this, but still. That's the lead singer in the middle right there. Okay. That's Sunny. The fact that I can tell them apart, I definitely wasn't able to in the beginning. Only after watching so many videos of theirs. Sooyoung. It's between her and Hyoyeon who are like my favorites now. It used to be just Jessica. That's the lead dancer. I just reviewed a couple of her videos, or just one of her videos, Wannabe. That's Tae on the lead. The SM room. This part was beautiful. They all like kind of like had like natural looking makeup on and just like a t-shirt kind of dress thing. It was cool. It was cute. Yes, Taeyeon, sing it. Come on, Jessica. This is a mess. I fell in love with her. Not with this song. It was with Genie. Oh wow, wow. Blast from the past though. Look at Minho. He looks nothing like that anymore. Like, I mean, you can still tell it's him, but if you see like recent like photos of Minho from Shiny, he looks nothing like that. Like he's like kind of grown up now. Anyway, that was G. I don't know. Something like really attracted me to it. I think it's mostly because of the appeal, the fact that I knew it from like the Dead Fantasy Monty creation, and the fact that he used those the girls from, you know, those series and animated them so that they were doing the exact same choreography, and like somebody did a side by side, and it was like completely, it was like perfect. You know, all the formation changes, he made sure each girl matched up with a specific role. Like, I know if you know Final Fantasy, the characters, like he used Yuna from Final Fantasy X as the lead, and she was supposed to be Taeyeon, and anywhere that Taeyeon moved, Yuna also moved. So I really, like, I don't know, I kind of guess just fell in love with like the different formation changes and kind of just how you know, poppy the song. It was like bubblegum pop. But the songs that kind of came after that were a little different, and it was definitely a different experience. Watching other videos, like was kind of similar, but then when they got into the dark soshi, they call them dark soshi, like the darker girl generation, and then they did the song Run Devil Run. That was like everything, because it was a different kind of vibe. It was almost like an urban kind of pop, and it was darker themed and everything. They were all wearing like mostly black, and like the vocals were on point for that song. You heard all the harmonies that they do. I mean, you know, SM, there may be a lot of issues with SM, but the one thing you can't take away from them is they definitely put a lot of work into making their artists the best that they can be. Because if you look at the artists that I've reviewed so far from SM, BoA and NCT, you know, they are on top of it. Choreo, vocals, rap, like they're on top of everything, and that's like really what I do like about SM. They don't put out crap, and I do like that about them, and that's what I came to like about Girls' Generation. You know, this wasn't like the first video like that made me like hooked on Girls' Generation. I did not become a Soan, and that's what they call their fans, Soan. I did not become a Soan until I saw Genie. Genie was the video that really got me into them, and I'm probably gonna go and do like an entire collection of their videos, kind of just to celebrate their 10-year anniversary. 10 years is a long time for a group to actually be together and active. You know, you have groups out there that have been together for such and such time. You know, you still had like Spice Girls doing their like tours and stuff, and Destiny's Child got back together after, but see, they took a hiatus and then came back. Girls' Generation has never taken a hiatus. They've always been, you know, on it. They've never been in inactive status. Even when they're kind of like in an off season, they still like kind of release things here and there. They're still making appearances. They're still doing tours, concert tours and stuff. So they've never been inactive. If the fact that they lost a member, they lost Jessica, you know, there's still 8 members. Some of the other members have now stepped up, you know, in Jessica's place. You know, it used to be Taeyeon Jessica with all like the lead parts, but now Soyeon, the youngest, has stepped up. Tiffany has definitely stepped up. You know, they had their subunit, TTS, the 3 of them, so they like kind of took leadership, lead vocals over the group. And then even members that didn't used to get a lot of lines, like Sooyoung and Yuri, have more lines now. It's beneficial, but then it's also kind of a hindrance to have a lot of members, because when you have a whole bunch of members like that, I feel like not everybody's gonna get like, you know, their chance to shine. But you know, when you're a group, and when you're really invested into the group, that's not something that you really worry about. Although Sooyoung did say the one time that she was upset at the fact that she had so little lines in I Got a Boy, but I mean, it is what it is. That's all I really have to say about this video. if you have any questions, obviously, like, leave them down in the comment section below. If you have any questions about Girls' Generation, about them as a girl group, I am going to do what I said I was going to do. I'm going to start from the very beginning, the very first video, Into the New World, and do like a re-reaction to every single music video that they have done. 10 years being together is definitely a milestone, and you know, they came out in the summertime, so I think it's really great, and they're gearing up for a comeback. So I think leading up to the comeback, I will be posting videos doing kind of like a re-reaction and kind of sharing my thoughts about that era of Girls' Generation and what I was thinking at the time that I watched those videos. I don't know. It's just something for me to do. I don't care if anybody cares about it or not. I just want to do it because you know, they're probably, they kept my hope alive for pop music. Kind of, you know, they really put in a lot of work, and I have so much respect for them as a group, as artists. Each individual girl is honestly really amazing in what they do. You know, even the ones that haven't had solo careers yet, you know, they still have, they really made their mark, and there's a reason why they are the top girl group in Asia, you know. They really do it, and they really give it to you live too. I'm not even gonna lie, like, you know, all of them can dance and sing, you know, some stronger than others, but for the most part they can all dance and sing at the same time, and you know, they don't tire out. They have the stamina. They do an entire concert singing live and dancing and stuff. So you know, it's great. Anyway, I hope everybody has a great day, and take care.